I was lucky enough to visit France a while back, and one day I was just feeling kind of homesick and out of place. Let's just say that I wasn't fitting in with my travel group, and I was longing to go explore on my own. So I snuck away to a nearby pastry shop that I had been eyeing. This shop was so pretty. There were macarons, cream puffs, and just all kinds of colorful goodies to choose from. I remember thinking how lucky I was, how I would never be in this beautiful shop again, and how excited I was to buy a few cookies before our bus left. Just as I was about to make my grand purchase, I reached for my wallet and it wasn't there. In my rush to escape the group, I ended up leaving my wallet at the hotel. For some reason, this was a big letdown. They were just cookies, and I was super privileged to be on this trip. But in my mind, I had missed out on something that would never come around again. Then I turned a corner and was surrounded by the most beautiful flowers. Bright reddish pink, more vibrant than I had ever seen in my life. They flooded the side of the path I was on. I thought, wow, who could ever be upset while looking at such a beautiful thing? Beauty matters. It helps put things in perspective. It sparks creativity. It connects us to one another. It's free, and we all deserve to experience it. That's really what this channel is about. So today, let's talk about how to notice beauty even when life gets busy, and how we can make it work for us. So a point that I really want to drive home is that beauty is for everyone. I think we really have grown accustomed to believing that beauty is only for the rich and powerful. And that makes sense that we would think that, right? Because we're bombarded by images that show us people posting about lavish vacations, luxury goods, beautiful interiors. And when I was growing up, we didn't have social media, but there was this show called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I don't know if anyone remembers that, where, they would just show these people's beautiful homes, estates, really, and how they live their lives. There was Beverly Hills 90210. There was Clueless. That's really continued into a lot of the images that we see today from just people posting. But there are so many ways to live beautifully that A, aren't about aesthetics at all, and B, don't cost a dime. And we'll get into that part a bit later. But first, I really want to talk about why it's even important to acknowledge beauty, especially when we might feel overwhelmed by everything else that's going on in our lives. So I think that we often forget that beauty actually makes life worth living. When you think about the birth of a child, when you think about connecting to another person, like when I talk to my best friend, we can talk about anything. That is beautiful. Being able to share moments with each other. Just think about your favorite song, your favorite piece of music, your favorite book, your favorite story. For me, I love television. I find the beauty in so many storylines of TV. And I think the reason why I prefer television to movies, although I like them both, is that I get to see the development of a character for a long time. I get to develop my own relationship to that character, through different seasons. Maybe there's a year in between seasons. I get to come back and pick up where I left off in that person's life and see them grow and develop. That is a beautiful thing to me. And on top of that, beauty is so intertwined with the feelings and emotions that matter most to us. Beauty is intertwined with love. We feel appreciation when we see something beautiful, gratitude. Beauty can spark creativity. Just look at all of the artists out there and what they've painted just from landscapes, seascapes, other people. And this might be very dark, but if you strip all of that away, you take all of the beauty out of your day, you take all of the beautiful things out of your life, all of the things that really matter to you, that you find, not just aesthetically pleasing, but emotionally beautiful. And what do you have to look forward to? It really is what keeps us going. Now, on a much more day-to-day and practical level, noticing beauty really helps us to reset. A good example of this is I had a really high pressure gig that was weighing on me. I'm a freelancer. I do a lot of different types of jobs, and I was just feeling very anxious about this one particular job that just had a lot of pressure. And so I decided that I was going to go take a walk. Luckily, my sister lives nearby, and we decided to, just take a walk around the neighborhood. I found so many beautiful things to focus on instead of my anxiety, which that anxiety felt like a huge cloud over me. I did not want to get outside. I did not want to go for a walk. I didn't want to do anything. But when I went outside, I saw a bluebird, which I had never seen before in my life. It had the most beautiful indigo colored feathers. I saw a butterfly. I got to talk with my sister. I got to notice, like nature and trees and grass, because I'm lucky enough to live in a neighborhood that has all of those things and that I can feel like I'm safe walking around in. That really put things in perspective. Like, this is so wonderful that I get to actually spend time with someone that I love and then also be in this environment. And when I came back, I felt better. It didn't completely get rid of the anxiety, and this is not to say that taking a walk is going to get rid of your anxiety. Like, I'm not a mental health professional. Sometimes we need help from mental health professionals, so please keep that in mind. But say you have a problem. Say you have a problem, you're at work and you're like, I cannot figure out how to fix this. I cannot figure out, I can't crack this code. And you take time to go and take a break from it. A lot of times, how many times has it happened that you come back and you're like, oh, I see the solution? It's because you were able to give yourself a mental break and come back. And ultimately, when you have those beautiful moments every single day, it enhances your life overall. A while back, I did a video about perfume bottles and the beautiful things that they are and how I love beautiful packaging. I saw perfume bottles all the way back to ancient Egypt. And they weren't just these vessels that you could just throw anything in that weren't nice to look at. They were always beautiful. They always had some sort of art on them or an interesting shape to them. And we see that with pottery, right? Pottery has been around forever. And we could just find a container to put things in, and sometimes that's what we have. But we've always, as humans, been drawn to beautiful things. Something that I found in my research for this video that was really cool is that on a biological level, beauty has actually helped us survive. A 2023 article in BBC's Science Focus explored the purpose behind why we even experience beauty. It read, a symmetrical face, for instance, suggests good health and strong genes in a potential mate. Our brains recognize plants that grow in fractal patterns as healthy and safe to eat, and make us wary of those that grow askew. Things that help us survive activate the reward center in our brain, including feelings of pleasure, and in doing so, cause us to attach value to them. So we know that our brains like symmetry, we like patterns, but despite all the research that's been done, we don't have an actual definition for beauty. And there's this really interesting article in Scientific American that talks about this. It reads, there is no shortage of theories about what makes an object aesthetically pleasing. Ideas about proportion, harmony, symmetry, order, complexity, and balance have all been studied by psychologists in great depth. The theories go as far back as 1876, in the early days of experimental psychology, when German psychologist Gustav Fechner provided evidence that people prefer rectangles with sides in proportion to the golden ratio. Despite his experiments with the golden ratio, Fechner continued to believe that beauty was, to a large degree, in the brain of the beholder. My takeaway from all of this is that, yes, there are so many theories about what we find beautiful and how to define beauty, especially in other people, right? Aesthetically. But a great thing about not being able to define beauty is that it really is subjective. That means we can be flexible in what we think is beautiful. Like for instance, I'm just thinking about when I was growing up, I wore only silver jewelry. There was even a store in the mall called Nothing But Silver. Silver jewelry was so big. I thought I would never wear gold. Now, like for I don't know how many years, I only wear gold. I just feel like silver isn't really flattering on my skin tone, and our tastes change. There's always some sort of beauty to be found in things that are both aesthetic or also in other people and experiences. So with all that said, here are some things that you can do to notice beauty in your everyday life. And I think it's nice to start really small, especially if this is, kind of difficult for you, is just set aside 1 minute every single day for beauty. That could mean getting outside and looking up at the sky, noticing how blue it is, maybe some beautiful architecture, noticing different colors and plants that you see. It could mean putting on a lipstick that you really like. It could mean just looking at beautiful packaging. Like I keep this on my desk. This is a vintage lipstick holder. It has a beautiful red velvet inside and a mirror. I just keep it on my desk and I take a look at it. I love the blue and the pop of this salmony pink. And then there are gold strands. So pretty. And every time I look at that, I'm pretty sure there's like a dopamine hit that I feel. If you have to go get coffee or if you're going to take a walk down the street, maybe it's just saying hi to someone or asking someone how their day is going. Those are little things that really boost your mood. Having a little interaction with someone, I feel really good after I do that, even if I don't feel like talking. And I mean, something else you can do right now, you're on social media. Add beautiful imagery to your feed. You can just type in, beautiful, you can type in nature, you can find keywords like water. I also have shorts and like TikToks on clouds, just things that you think are beautiful, and curate your feed. So I want to end this video with a bit of a hot take that I don't think is very controversial, but it's something that I have sort of had to battle with people or battle with ideas that people have given me over time. And that's the idea that beauty isn't as important as everything else. I hope this video gave you the takeaway at least that beauty is important and that you deserve it. I mean, when I was a makeup artist, a lot of the messaging that was sent my way is that makeup isn't very important. It's not as important as other things. And makeup isn't the be-all end-all of beauty, but what that messaging said to me is that my interests or the thing that I found beautiful or the thing that I found important actually wasn't important, and that it was frivolous, and that beauty is frivolous. And whether it is a lipstick, whether it is a sunset, whether it is a connection to another person, those beautiful things deserve time. I don't think anyone is going to be hurt or any of your obligations are going to suffer if you spend 1 minute a day on beauty. Sometimes we have to believe that we deserve that. And it's not about shirking our responsibilities in lieu of beauty. It's about having beauty and having everything else, because all of those things can exist at the same time. So with that, I leave you. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe. My Patreon is in the description box below if you would like to support me that way. And I will be back next time with a brand new video. Until then, take care.